Man, have I missed this. Talking to a camera, making mistakes over and over again, so I have to keep restarting the video, which I've already done about 4 times because I forget where I'm going because I'm not used to doing YouTube at the moment. Short update for you guys. There's no return planned right now for various reasons, which I'll get into in the video. But for the most part, the only downtime I get on a day-to-day basis right now, I just don't have the energy to lock myself into playing games to make content on, or live streaming games to make content on. And it's very different when you create content on a video game and play a video game off camera. You know, when you're creating content, you have to use a lot of energy to make it enjoyable. And I know that my channel's not that enjoyable because people are unsubscribing all the time, but you know what I mean? Like, it's a whole different energy having to put effort into making videos while playing a game, especially if you don't really enjoy the game. Destiny 2. Man, that the changes for PvP, while I sarcastically make comments about it, I don't know what they're doing. The movement, I hate people with really good movement, but Jesus Christ, why are you cutting that out of the game? Anyway, so yeah, making content is very time consuming and very energy consuming, and I just don't have that in me right now. I'm going to talk about what happened with my mom and other stuff in just a second. I will say though, I have thought about returning, because what I've realized is when I take breaks, or you know, like I did for that 3-year break when I left YouTube, it really cements in me that I'm ingrained to do YouTube. Like, it's a part of me, it's who I am. And before, I used to look at it as, oh, how many views can I get, how much money can I earn, how famous can I be, quote unquote. And that was kind of where I put the measuring bar, which once you reach a certain level of relevance, you'll never really get over that bar, and then it becomes depressing and YouTube isn't fun anymore. But over the past year or so since I returned, it was never about that. It was just about playing games, having fun, and you know, doing it the correct way to do YouTube, and live streaming eventually when I started live streaming. And I just miss it so much. It's just a part of who I am. So for me, if I ever do return, you know, 6 months time, whatever, I think I'm primarily going to go live streaming and maybe go over to Twitch and do it there. And then if, you know, there's any content driven games, you know, where you make videos on how to do this, how to do that, tips for this, tips for that, where to find this, where to find that. If any game like that comes out that I enjoy, I'll probably come back to making videos and such things. Or maybe just do highlights from my stream over here on YouTube. But that's, you know, way down the line. I don't even have an idea of when that may happen, but the idea is there. So those who are unsubscribing right now because they're sick of me talking about my personal life, thank you. I'll see you soon, hopefully. If not, have a good life. Those of you who have continued to support me, stay subscribed throughout all this stuff. People who follow me on Twitter, link is in the video description. People who have like supported me, sent me DMs, sent me messages. I love you guys. I appreciate you, and I absolutely miss the hell out of you and this whole thing. Also, to add to the stress and anxiety that I'm about to talk about, in about a month's time, if I get accepted, I'm going to university, which is going to be a whole heap of stress and anxiety and time consuming work. Well, at least for the first year, it's an introductory course, and then the year after is a degree and starting my degree. So maybe the introductory course isn't going to be too bad, but you know, it's still going to take up a lot of my energy and time, which is another reason why I can't really return to YouTube or plan to return to YouTube. Okay, so let's talk about my mum. I'm not going to get too much into it because obviously it's personal, but you know, for those who know what's going on or have heard what's going on, I want to give you an update, obviously, so that, you know, if you do care, then you can kind of know what's happening. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying. So yeah, when I left about a month ago, my mum's cancer had returned and spread from her bowel to her stomach to her lungs and to her chest. And then she started to decline in health really quickly. So, you know, we assumed it was the cancer that was causing that. And I'm not saying that the cancer wasn't causing some problems, because, you know, it's cancer. But however, she had another medical condition which we just didn't know until, you know, I don't know. I don't even know when it happened. It's all been spiraling so quick. So for some context, about 2 months before this happened, my mum was running around the field and park with our puppy, who is just a crazy little ball of energy. And for the most part, she was fine. And then at the end of those 2 months, just before we figured out what it was, you know, she couldn't really move or walk without my assistance, you know, without me being able to hold her hand and stuff like that. and like her memory was going and stuff. It was really, really crazy to see how fast the decline was. But then we were told that she had pressure and fluid on her brain, which can happen to anyone at any time. But of course, while my mum's going through this with cancer, it had to happen to her now. Basically, your skull has an area or a hole where fluid is, drained and regulated so it doesn't build up pressure. That can get blocked. That's what happened to my mum. And basically, your body is healthy. So, like she was struggling to walk, but there was nothing wrong with her legs. But because there was so much pressure in her head, her brain wasn't sending the signal to those muscles to be able to move properly. And obviously it's incredibly dangerous. So my mum went into hospital, and because of COVID I couldn't really go and visit her, and she was in this one hospital over here which was terrible for her. The NHS over here is obviously free healthcare, but they're also not the best hospitals in certain areas, and some of them just don't give a crap. And that's what happened to my mum. She was there for about a week and 2 days, I believe. Let's just say a week. And basically she was just sleeping in a bed. The nurses weren't really doing much. They did what they had to do, and that was it. Doctors weren't really doing anything. And she got really, really, really close to potentially dying. So my brother made an executive decision, because my brother was in charge of everything to do with going backwards and forwards to the hospital. Due to COVID, you can only have one visitor at a time. And I was at home, looking after the puppy, stopping him from destroying the entire house all the time. So I couldn't go and visit my mum. So my brother was doing all that stuff. I was at home doing all the home stuff. And my brother decided to discharge her from that hospital and take her to another hospital, which is a really much better hospital than the first one. Plus all her doctors and all the neurologists and all her oncologists for her cancer were at this hospital. So she had direct contact, or my brother had direct contact with all the doctors that are involved with all her health issues. And then the surgery happened within like 2 days. I want to tell you something about the NHS as well. It's crazy. So my mum had this pressure on her brain, but she also has cancer. So the decision making in the NHS is crazy, and I understand why they do it, but they had a meeting with the neurologists and the surgeons who were going to be performing this brain surgery on my mum, and the oncologists with her cancer. Now, if the oncologists say that my mum hasn't got very long left to live, they don't do the brain surgery, which is just mental, absolutely mental. And I understand why it's a business thing. They have to spend money on doing these surgeries, and it's a free healthcare system. And if my mom was going to die anyway, what's the point in them doing the brain surgery? And, if you look at it objectively and outside the scope of emotion and connection to the person, you can kind of understand it, but it's fucked up. Let's just put it that way. It's fucked up. Anyway, they feel like my mom has long enough left to live, or potentially could even survive this third cancer with a miracle, that they performed the brain surgery. And over the next 2 weeks to 3 weeks up to this current day, my mum just started getting better. And it's so crazy to see that she went from like up here normal chasing a puppy to pretty much completely destroyed and broken to back to some sort of normality in the space of like 2-3 months. It's mind-boggling. My mum's still kind of unsteady, still a little bit weak. Her temperature's still kind of high and stuff like that. But the fact that she could just move around on her own now and walk around is insane. It makes me have to do a little bit less of what I was doing every day, which I'll get to in a minute. So that's a little bit of a relief from me, on top of, my mum getting healthier. But however, because of the cancer, we have to move into chemotherapy. And it's going to be quite an intense chemotherapy, where it's going to cause a lot of negative effects to my mum's health. So again, it's going to cause a whole new bunch of stress and anxiety and challenges, which means I'm probably going to have even less time than I previously had to even play video games, let alone make content and videos and stuff. So yeah, it's been a wild time. It's been a crazy time. It's been a very, very sobering time on life and health and stuff like that. So let's talk about myself for a little bit, because I have an ego. No, I'm just kidding. The reason why I couldn't make videos and stuff is just because of time. Like, I'd wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning to walk the puppy, feed him, play with him, look after him, make sure that he's okay and healthy. And just, even when he was sleeping, I had to be around just in case he needed someone. And then also looking after my mum, who was obviously in bed, resting, recovering, making food, drinks, you know, just that kind of stuff, cleaning where I can, all that stuff, which I'm not used to. I'm not going to lie, I'm quite lazy, or was lazy anyway. So, you know, when that kind of thing hits all in one go and you have to do absolutely everything, and on top of that have a puppy, it was a lot of stress and anxiety for me. And as I said, or have said in the past, being autistic makes that way more impactful on my mental health than it would most people. And I'm not trying to, you know, say, oh God, woe little me, my life's hard. But it caused a lot of challenges and health problems for me, to the point where I just didn't feel good at all, 100% or anything, for a very long time. You know, I felt dizzy, weak and sick every single day since I left YouTube. And on top of that, like, my anxiety and stress got to a point where I literally had pain all up the left hand side of my head, and I couldn't see out my left eye, because I didn't have coping mechanisms available to me. I didn't have time to myself to be able to, you know, reduce that anxiety and stress that I was going through every day, because I didn't get to content create, I didn't get to live stream, I didn't even really get to play video games. The only thing that I play right now is Final Fantasy 14, and I don't really get much time on that anyway. So without having those outlets and breaks from everything that was going on, my stress and anxiety just hit the roof, and, you know, it started to affect me. Now, over the past few days, my mum's been healthy enough to, you know, move around herself and do stuff, so a little bit of the stress been taken off me. But obviously with the chemotherapy coming back, that's going to go right back to me doing everything anyway, so I'm very happy to have the break from it, and I'm looking forward, I guess, to having to do it all over again. And then obviously if I go back to uni next month, even more stuff, which is, you know, it's just crazy. So I haven't been well myself, so even in the downtime that I did get, I wouldn't be able to make content anyway, because I just needed to rest, because it was just been. And I guess that's kind of it. I had so much things I wanted to talk about, but, you know, I'm just so not used to being in this groove of making videos that I'm kind of forgetting what I've already said in this video, and I'm going to watch it back in a minute while I'm editing it and be like, oh crap, I forgot to say that. However, I just ultimately want to say, hopefully one day I'll be back. Hopefully. Like I said, it's ingrained in me. I want to do this. However, life at the moment is really shit. Really, really shit. And there's just no way out of it right now. I have to do the things that I'm doing. But I do want to say thank you again to everybody who has supported me, who has, you know, messaged me on Twitter, DM, link is in the video description, and just stayed subscribed, hoping that, you know, I might make content again one day. And for those who are unsubscribing and have unsubscribed, if you ever see this, I get it. You know, I'm not making videos anymore. You don't give a shit about my life. That's fine. It's whatever. But yeah, I love you guys. I miss you guys. I really hope I'll be back one day. Come see me on Twitter. Have a chat if you wish to. Anyway, thank you for watching. I've been easynow. You guys have been awesome. Man, I've missed saying that. Peace.